Good morning and welcome to another session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader, and welcome to another pre-market review session. So before we get started, let's go ahead and take a look at the risk disclosure. All right, just to remind everyone that all the content is being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any future security, company, or fund. Use of the information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representative agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of this information. We all understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. An investor could potentially lose all or more their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation to offer, buy, sell futures or Forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning, Alejandro. So now that we got the risk disclosure out of the way, we can go ahead and take a peek here at the news. All right. So we have a couple of news events that could shake up the markets. We have the JOLTS job opening report coming in at 10 a.m. today. We have factory orders month over month coming in at also at 10 a.m. And then we have some earnings. We have Pfizer, AMD, Google, okay, all coming in today. And then in addition, we have Fed member Bostic and Fed member Daly speaking. And then appears that we have some sort of press conference with Trump and Israelis Netanyahu. There's a press conference today at which probably shouldn't impact us much in the markets unless maybe we trade overnight. Okay. All right. So now that we have a sense for the news and how it could impact us, we can go ahead and move on to the charts. Okay. So let's go ahead and locate my platform here. There we are. Take a sip of water here. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the market that we normally get started with, and that's the gold market. Now, we all know that the gold market has been on a nice run of late, and it continues to be on that run. We're coming back to some levels that we've reached back earlier this week. So let's take a look at the daily and see what the daily has to show us. Going to go ahead and remove some drawings. Going to go ahead and remove some of my indicators here, and then just really kind of get a sense for what the market is trying to accomplish. Okay, so let's move that, and we'll do that as well, and this as well. Okay, nice clean charts. Okay, when I start off the market, review of the market, I definitely like to look at the markets from a macro point of view and get a sense for what the general direction is of the markets. Very important. Okay. Because once I have a view of the general directions of the markets, then it becomes easier for me when I see some initiative action on the lower time frame. So you can see here that we've been on a steady climb since December of last year. Okay, we had a gap open here at the tail end of at the end of January last week, and we continue to show signs that there is strength in this market. Okay, so nothing in this chart is indicating that there is any how we say loss of momentum. Okay. We see price action that indicates that there is a fair amount of momentum to the upside. Okay, Moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart. So we have a developing 4-hour candle here. After a series of candles that are probably a little bit more on the retracement side. And now we have a developing candle that's above our 233-day EMA, as well as volume delta, giving us indications that there is a fair amount of volume behind this current move. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart. Here we are. We have our developing initial balance range, which is always important. Okay. And so first thing we're going to do here is we're going to understand where price is in relation to yesterday's value. All right. So we're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. We're going to take the start of the session, which I defined as 8:30 a.m. Okay. Drag that across to the close of the session, which I define as 4:30 p.m. Okay. Eastern time. All right. And what I'm trying to understand is, where are we in relation to value? Well, if we extend this value area line, okay, you can see that we are above value, okay, indicating that we have a fair amount of interest, and not only interest but momentum, okay, to the upside. Now we are seeing some evidence of selling here, okay, because we are coming up into an area where we should expect some sellers, right? This is kind of the last kind of little pullback that we got in the market, okay, after this solid move to the upside, okay. So now we're coming into this area. Now the question is going to become: is this going to continue, kind of rotating, in this range, okay? Or is this going to be the leg that's going to break this level and head to new levels? I'm of the opinion of the former, and I think it's probably going to be in range, okay, for a little bit before it's able to break above 2870, okay, or to say 2875. Now, am I going to be open and ready should that happen? Absolutely, because I would say that this area right here could offer us, again, another reference level that we can base our decisions on. Okay. Now, if we do manage to get above this level, then let's say 2872 will be an area that we can use to support a longish trade. Okay. Otherwise, the expectation is that we might be coming into this area, and that could lead to a little bit of a retracement before we make that next leg higher. Okay. So so now that we have our fixed range volume profile, I'm going to go ahead and open up our ADR. Okay, there's our ADR. So we're also coming into that ADR, average daily range high. And then I'm going to also open up our ASR, which we've already exceeded from a London's perspective. And we'll still need to wait for the US officially to open before we see some sort of adjustment on the average session range. Okay. Next order of business for me is to look at the anchored VWAP from London. Okay. We'll take a look at London's anchored VWAP. We're going to start with the open of London. And again, you can see that price is above. Good morning. Price is above both our VWAP, our daily VWAP, and our anchor VWAP. Okay. So in this particular case, I'm anchoring my VWAP up against the start of London. Okay. All right. So now that I have my anchor VWAP, my daily VWAP, and my volume profile, I'm going to go ahead and add the levels that I'm going to be tracking in this market. Okay. So I've already marked a couple of levels above, right? We have that 2872 level. Okay, which is also serving as this range, just where the average daily range, we had 28.65. That looks like it's been adjusted here to 28.57. So I'll go ahead and adjust that here a little bit. And then we have value area high also coming in around that level. Okay, so let's see. We're going to go ahead. First, we're going to adjust our 28.57. Actually, we're going to go adjust 28.62, I guess. .1. Okay. 10. Okay, this is our value area high right here. Okay, again, another important reference level. We have 28.57.1, which is our kind of London session, which probably will need to adjust here once the New York session opens. Okay, so this is our average session range high. Now these levels serve as not only targets for my trades, but also serve as areas for possible reversal. Okay. So having these areas on my charts provide me logical levels where I can potentially entertain executions. Okay. So I got my average session range, my average, let's see, my value area low here is coming in at 28.49. We'll leave it at 20, let's see, 28.49, or is it a little higher? It looks like it's a little higher. 28.50.1. So I'll just update this a little bit to 28.50.1. Okay. All right. So based on what I'm seeing at this moment in time, okay, we're coming into an area from Tennessee. Any top step mindset tenors on? Hey, Matt. Okay, so as we come into this area here, we do see that we are coming up against an area of value. All right. So my current thought process is that if we do close back inside value, okay, and this is we run the potential of running through the entire range of value. Okay. So that's kind of my current view. Now, if that's going to take place, I'd like to obviously get a close back inside value. And then I do not want to see price get above value once that takes place. Okay. And that could provide me a nice, value area rotation trade through value down to the other end of value and potentially down to the lows. Okay. That is kind of coming back to my rotation view that I had spoken of before. So that's one scenario. The other scenario that I would like to see is for that like is, I guess, if open to, okay, is for price to stay and remain above this anchored not anchored average session range, maybe anchored VWAP. Okay, anchored VWAP, and could offer me a location where I could take a continuation trade to the upside. Okay. So that's also a possibility. Okay. So I could see a rotation through value. Okay. Right here, right? Could see a rotation through value, or I could potentially see price come down to an area. In either case, I still need some more data to support my view. Okay. It's too early for me to say that this is going to take place. I have yet to get a close of rotation for my rotation view. And my bullish view, if I am bullish, I'm not at a good price level to support that either. Okay, so I have to sit and wait for price to get to a reference level where I can manage my risk. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and extend this value area low line here. Okay, right there. Okay, there's our value area low line. Okay. So like I said, we could either see a rotation all the way through value before we see any sort of continuation move to the upside. If I would say that that's more kind of of the scalping variety. Okay. If I am right now, given where we are in the markets and given the sort of the general direction, it seems like we would be better served in waiting for an opportunity that brought us to a known level of demand or support. Okay. Um, Potentially, yes. Right. So yes, I don't anticipate price to leave a lot of TPOs at these levels. Okay, so these areas are going to be something that are probably going to be is going to cause single prints, and those single prints will cause us to reverse back to the upside. Okay, so yes, that is I would expect something along those lines. So in any case, those are kind of my two hypos. Um, one other item that I always like to see. Okay, well, exactly. One of my opportunities here is that we have this initial balance range. I wait for this initial balance range to establish, and then once I get that established, I wait for a price event. In this case, an extension in one direction, close before, and then I use the initial balance. In this case, a low. If assuming that it moved lower, that would be kind of a source of a reference level to support my execution to the downside. Okay. So right now, I would have to say that I'm looking lower. Okay, not so much. I think that gold is going to go into any sort of major sell off. I just would like to see potentially into a better location to buy. Okay, rather than potentially buy at retail. Okay, that's really what it amounts to. Okay, all right. So enough about gold. Let's move on to crude oil. I find myself that I spend quite a bit of time on gold, and then we scramble to get through the other markets. So let's move on. Okay, let's take a look at crude oil. That's the next market on the list here. All right, and again, same kind of analysis here. Okay, I start off with a daily. All right, I start off with the daily. I try to get a sense for what the market is trying to accomplish, and you can see, if just I'm going to go ahead and hide some of these levels here. All right, including initial balance. Okay, if I knew nothing about trading, okay, and I just looked at the series of candles that I see, what hopefully everyone agrees that the market is looking to go lower, right? No, there's no kind of special sauce there. We don't need an indicator to tell us that, right? The market has a bearish tone to it, right? We have a gap, right? We have a gap open to the downside. Again, more evidence that there's pressure to move to the downside. Now, how far can this go? Well, I don't see anything that is necessarily stopping us. I guess we're at a level now that could potentially offer us maybe an area for reversal. But then there's no reason why we can't maybe revisit some of these lows at 69 or 68 or 67, right? We have kind of like an intermittent level here. It is a level, right? What was resistant becomes support. Okay, so this area right here could end up becoming supportive. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark it as green. Okay, this area could become supportive, right? Because this area was an area of resistance, not so distant future past. Okay, we're going to take a look at the 4 hour here in next, Joe. Okay, so right now we are coming into an area that again is an area where we could see it turn into support and then rally from. If we do manage to get below it, I would say that we have a reasonable chance to get back down to the lows. This is kind of like the opposite story here with crude oil, with gold, right? We're trying to debate how to get into a long trade in gold, and here we're trying to debate how to get into a short trade, okay, in crude oil. So kind of opposites here, okay? Moving on to the 4 hour charts. Okay, 4 hour chart. Okay, again, we see a series of candles to the downside. Okay, we had a gap down, which again will be an area of resistance here. Okay, this gap down area. Okay, uh, right. So, and then we've continued to make a series of lower lows and lower highs. Price has reached below my EMA. That's a kind of another little sentiment indicator for myself. Okay, now if anything, if we're actually coming into more of a demand zone, Joe, I would say, than a supply zone. So demand is lower, right? Supply is above, right? So we're actually starting to come into some 4-hour demand in the crude oil, right? So this obvious level is down below here. Okay, I don't see right now really what's keeping us from getting there. Okay, but this level right here to me seems like a logical demand zone in the crude oil. Okay, and like I said here, there's really nothing here that indicates to me that's necessarily going to keep us from getting there. Now, whether that happens today or not, that's a different question. But I do see a path for price to get down to 68. Okay, and volume delta, which is a measure of buy and sell orders. Well, the orders that I'm seeing and receiving are also indicating they're aligned with that view. Okay, so right now we have strong volume delta. Where we have somewhere in the 10,000 range, more sell orders than buy orders. Okay, again, another indication that there's a fair amount of interest to the downside. All right, moving on to the 30-minute chart. This is where I start to do some fixed range volume profile analysis here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile here. Okay, and again, we're going to go ahead and locate the start of Monday. I always like to compare price, or I always like to view price in relation to yesterday's value. That gives me a view of whatever direction the market participants are trying to take it. How successful are they in that view? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and locate the start of crude oil, and crude oil starts at 9 a.m. every morning, half hour before the equities, and we're going to go ahead and drag that across to the close here. Okay, so you can see that price is below value, right? So indicating that we are seeing initiative price action to the downside. Okay, initiative price action to the downside. Okay, so that's this area right here, 72.41. Notice how it was not able to get back inside value in the overnight trading, and it fell off. Okay, now we have price below our daily VWAP, below our volume profile from Monday. And I'm going to go ahead and draw in my anchored VWAP, which I expect that to be below as well. So I'm going to go ahead and locate London, and we see our daily VWAP and our London session all showing lower. Now we're starting to get a little extended, okay, to the downside, but that's not to say that we can't continue in that move and can't continue in a sustained move in that direction. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and open up my ADR levels. I suspect that we're probably at them or have already exceeded them. So we have our average daily range, average daily price range. It has already been exceeded to the downside. I'm going to take a look on the session basis. On the London side, we've already started to exceed this levels. Now the question is, are these levels going? If these are average price ranges that this instrument trades, are these areas going to offer us maybe an opportunity to get back to some of these levels? Okay. So you'll find that if I'm extended in any one direction, I'm a little hesitant to take it in that direction because I'm paying retail. Okay, so my view is once I'm in one solid direction in one side, well, I need to see some sort of pullback, right? Some sort of pullback that will allow me to manage my risk before I participate in the trade. So while I feel that this is continuing to be bearish, okay. I don't necessarily want to participate. I don't want to be the last seller, basically. Okay. I don't want to be the last seller to only have to be stormed by a number of buyers to drive price and actually go ahead and stop me out here. Okay. So if I'm going to sell, I want to be in an area where I see evidence of sellers. Okay. We were in this kind of consolidation range. This area right here, right around 71.50. Would be a logical area, right? A logical area to sell. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move this one up here a little bit. Okay, this is an area that I would be logical for me to take on maybe a potential short trade. Okay, so if I don't want to sit on the charts and wait for that to happen, what can I do? Well, I can set an alert for myself, right? TradingView offers an alert. I can create an alert to notify me when this takes place, and then I can look to see if I get the requisite price action to support a bearish trade in this market. Okay. Otherwise, at this point, I need to see maybe there might be, and as funny as this may sound, maybe there's an opportunity, right? If we get down to some of these levels, lower levels, that is going to cause something to it's going to cause the market to at least get up back to our mean here, right? Our volume weighted average price, right, levels both on the anchored and the daily side. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up initial balance. Market should be about to open here. It's already open, so we see our initial balance range being created. That's basically the range of the first hour of trade. Okay, so that's we'll have to wait for that to take place, as we're only 4 minutes into that area developing. Okay, the next order here I'm going to go ahead is add my price levels to this market. Okay. All right. So we're well below our average daily range, and our average session range is even lower. Okay. So 71.10, okay, is our average session range from London's perspective. So this will get adjusted here in the next half hour or so, but we'll go ahead and mark it anyway. So we have average session range low. And we're attempting to exceed that. Question is, can we hold below it? And if we do hold below it, can it hold below 71? Because that could offer us a continuation trade to the downside. Okay. Okay. Let's see. If there's anything else here that I want to say about crude oil. So, like I said, right now, the question I have for myself, and this is something I probably need to take a look at the 4-hour chart for, is where's the bottom? Okay, at least on the short term. Okay, where can price go on the short term? I think we called out some daily levels around 69 and 68. I think. Now the question is, where can this potentially go here? Okay, so I'm gonna have to take a look at the 4-hour chart to see if I see some levels here. Okay, so look at the strength of this bearish candle that we see in the crude oil. Okay, that's a lot of strength, a lot of momentum coming in to the downside. Okay, so again, we're seeing maybe an area here around the 70s. Okay, low 70, 50. Okay, might be a logical area for this market to move. And then ultimately we can get down to 69, 62 before we see any evidence here to the left of maybe some buyers. Okay. So down to 70, maybe as low as down to 69, 62 before we see any sort of respite in this current price move to the downside. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and move to the markets of everyone's choice. The Jekyll and Hyde of my existence, and that is the NASDAQ. Okay. So let's start off by looking at the daily chart. Okay. And getting a sense for what the market is trying to accomplish. NASDAQ. Yes. Okay. So looking at the NASDAQ. Okay. So we've been in some sort of range kind of price action of late. Okay, range price action, and I'm going to be honest with you. Range price action is by far the most difficult types of price action to trade. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn off some of our levels here for now, just to get a better view of the kind of range price action we've been seeing. Okay, so we've had some difficulty getting above 22,000, and then we can also say that we've been having some difficulty getting below 21,000. So we've been in this 21,000 to 22,000 range. What is the indicator hugging the candles? VWAP. VWAP. That's basically the indicator is VWAP. So you just type VWAP, volume weighted average price, and that's what that blue line is. Okay. For me, it's kind of a sentiment indicator. If price is above VWAP, then that's a view of price continuing, into the bullish side. If it's below, then it's probably more bearish. Okay. Okay. All right. So we had a gap. Okay, we had a gap down. We filled that gap, and what did we do? Well, we created another gap. That is in the process of being filled. Now the question is this going to continue? Well, it's already been stalled. Okay, to the downside here a little bit. Right now, the question is, how is this? This is a daily candle now. How is this going to finish for the day? Well, we don't know, right? We have a candle that's bearish, but there's signs that there are buyers. It has a buying wick, so there's signs that there are buyers in the mist. Okay. Moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, so for our chart, again, we had a gap. We had the gap filled, and now we had a little bit of a move to the downside. Okay, now the question is, are we going to continue? Okay, we have a developing bullish candle here. Okay, but ultimately, to really kind of embrace these longs, we have to get above some of this structure here. Okay, right now, I still feel that we are still in somewhat bearish structure. We haven't really made any significant highs or lows. So I would say 21,600 I think is a relatively important level, I guess, if I'm a bull. Okay. I would not want to see price get below, say, 21,100, okay, or 200, let's say, for that matter, if I'm bullish on this market. Okay. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, moving on to the 30-minute chart, we see that price is below my 233-day EMA. Price has managed to get above my VWAP. Okay, we had a little bit of a reaction. Okay, there's a reason why these things exist on my charts, because they offer me areas where price could pass potential reversal. Okay, price has come up to my EMA, has kind of moved away from it, and now has come back down to VWAP, which could offer us maybe an opportunity for a reversal. Okay. We did cross above VWAP. Okay, this is a very definitive move above VWAP, and so far we've managed to hold it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move and add our anchor VWAP to this. So I'm going to go ahead and locate London for Monday here. All right, this is start of London, right about there. Okay, so again, London and our daily VWAP. Okay, both indicate both are above. Okay, if price breaks below this, then I think it opens the door, okay, for price to continue and maybe revisit some of these areas here to the left. Okay, if we remain above and we're starting to slope above, then I'd like to see price actually break above 21,460. Okay, before I'm really willing to embrace maybe a move to the upside. Okay, right now it appears that it wants to move higher. Okay, that's the view. Okay, but this can quickly change. Okay, this can quickly change. We're kind of at a decision point here in the market with price here. Okay, let's go ahead and open up my fixed range volume profile. Again, with every market, I'm always looking to see where price is in relation to yesterday's value. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and locate the start of Monday, drag that across to the close of Monday. All right, there it is. So you can see, okay, contributing to my view that we had made already of my range. Okay, we're in value, right? So what should we expect when we're in value? Well, when we're in value, we should expect choppy price action. Okay, and having choppy price action with an instrument like Nasdaq is a recipe not always a recipe for success. Okay, so in any case, the idea here right now is really this area here is not really giving us a whole lot of indication as to who's in control. Okay, right now we are in balance. Okay, we are in some sort of temporary price agreement. We're in value. Okay, now the question is the next piece of data. Okay, The next, yes, maybe some of the news events that are going to be taking place here, and the JOLTS report and others are going to give it a jolt, right? In what to move in one direction or the other. Okay, so what I'm going to be waiting for is I'm going to be waiting for the initial balance range to establish, and that's going to be my litmus test. Okay, so once the initial balance range is established, okay, then that gives me another little indication of what direction they want to take the market. If they establish a very narrow range, okay, initial balance wise, that speaks volumes as to maybe a potential trending day. If after the news event we create a very wide initial balance range, well, that contributes to the range view that we're currently in. Okay. So right now, not really an area that I would like to participate in the market. Notice that price is, again, just like in pre-market, kind of is really kind of drifting at the moment, not picking any sort of direction. So we'll just have to wait and see what the market provides when the market opens here. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at where my average daily ranges are. I suspect, we're at the bottom of one range. Okay, that's supportive. Okay. And then we have average session range here, which we have a top here around 21,515. Okay. So these are kind of logical areas for price to reach, right? So if I'm bullish, this would be a logical location, average session range high from London. That would be kind of a logical location for price if the market maintains this bullish posture and remains above this daily and anchored VWAP, then we could possibly see a move up to 2115 before we see any reversal in price. Okay. All right. Have you used footprint candle before for activity at price levels? Matt, I haven't. So I don't use, I don't use footprint candles. I know that they give you some sort of insights, but I know I haven't. I've stuck to my standard candle views, and then I let kind of like volume delta, which I know is kind of giving me a sense of order flow. Okay, sense of order flow. So no, but I haven't really looked at footprint charts to give me any additional insights. No, I did use TPO charts back earlier. That offered me some insights. But since some of these newer platforms, I haven't been able to really trust one that I follow, especially on TradingView. So, all right. So let's see. Now let's go ahead and add our price levels to this chart. Okay. Okay. So here's our price levels that we're going to be monitoring on this. Oops. Okay, so here are some of our price levels. We have our 4-hour supply up above. We have our value area high here coming in at 21,520. Okay, that's a little bit light here. We have a high here of our average session range of 21,515. So I'll go ahead and adjust that. Average session low is 21,212. These are London numbers. Okay, so these will adjust here once the market opens. Okay, we have average daily ranges where we're kind of responding off of at the moment. Okay, so again, so these are the levels that I'm going to be watching in this market. As I said right now, my feeling is probably a little bit bearish. I did see I do see that price is below my EMA. I do see price is beginning to get below my daily VWAP. And if I can get below my anchor VWAP, that could be a recipe maybe for a move down to this average session range low. Okay. That's kind of my current view, right? But we do need the price events to support my hypotheses. Okay. If I don't get the price events to support my hypotheses, then I sit on my hands, right? As simple as that. Okay. I trade the markets I have, not the markets I want, right? So I wait for price events to tell me the direction. Okay. All right. So like I said, right now, we have a little bit of mixed kind of information. Some information indicating to us that maybe price will continue lower. Other information that says that maybe we continue higher. We're just going to have to wait until the markets open here and decide from there. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the ES. I don't suspect that it's going to tell us all that different other than the different prices. We looks like it has reached some of these exhaustion ranges that we've been talking about. We'll go ahead and open up the daily. Okay, you can see that price has been kind of acting kind of funky of late. Okay, so really very difficult, very difficult price action to be trading, honestly. Okay, so we have a gap. I see a gap. Okay, here's our gap, right? There's our gap, and price has not been able to get above that gap. Okay, we had another gap that was formed, and then now it's been filled, and now we're maybe potentially looking to head lower. Okay, if for me to really entertain anything to the bullish side, well, I need to get above an area that at 1, 2, 3, 4 days it wasn't able to get above. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Kind of similar kind of view that we were talking about in the Nasdaq. We seem to be in some sort of range price action. Okay, so not really giving us a clear understanding of the direction that they want to take this market. Okay, all right, moving on to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, we had our gap filled. Okay, market has responded down initially, although we have a buying a bullish candle. We do see that it has a wick. So this is not the strongest of bullish candles here. Okay, so and again, the volume delta is really not tipping its hand here. We got a nice push Monday. Okay, with I guess some of the news events that we received. Okay, nice push to the upside. Price managed to get back down, offered us maybe a logical level to participate to the long side. Okay, but really hasn't done much of anything else since then. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, this is where I start to do my some analysis here. So we have some initial balance ranges that from yesterday. Okay, price is hanging around the top end of initial balance from yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and open up my fixed range volume profile here. Okay, I'm going to go locate Monday. Here it is, and then drag that across to the close of Monday, right about there. There, okay, and you can see that price is right smack in the middle of value. Okay, again, indications that this is maybe could lead to range price action. Okay, we do see price is currently above VWAP, but it is above VWAP on a VWAP that is sloping down, not sloping up. Okay, sloping down. Now, right now, assuming that we are able to stay above it, well, we need to get above 60/30 to really start to pick up some steam to the upside. Okay, this feels to me like it's more bearish than bullish. Okay, we'll have to see how the markets open up here, but that's kind of my current view. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up my anchor VWAP here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and anchor VWAP. We'll go ahead and start the London session here. Okay, price is above London. Okay, so we had some buyers maybe step in on the London side. So we'll have to see whether this holds again. We're going to go ahead and open up our ADR and ASR and get a sense for where we are on these average ranges, price ranges. Well, we reached the London session range, and we've begin to reverse away from it. We have average daily range, which is also at these levels. Okay, we exceeded it. Now could potentially serve as resistance here. So right now, for me, it feels like that maybe the market is a bit bearish. Okay, and that we will continue maybe to move to the downside. Okay, so let's go ahead and add our price levels here, and then we'll quickly take a peek at the Dow. All right, and then we'll go ahead and entertain any other questions, and we'll close the session. Okay. So let's see. Control Z. Control C. All right. Here we go. All right. So here are some of the levels that we're tracking in this market. We have some 4-hour supply zones above. We have another level above here at 60,000, 6,000, or close to 50, which also happens to be next to our value area high. So this level right here is going to be relatively important for me because I have a confluence of EMA as well as value area high. So if price manages to get to that level, that could offer me again a logical location for price reversals. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. So again, value area high offers me again another logical level for price to reverse. Right now, like I said, we are reversing away from average session range again, but I'm still seeing some signs that it's really fighting to stay above this daily VWAP. So I don't know what to make of it at the moment, right? Whether that's going to eventually release and offer us maybe an opportunity to the upside, at which point maybe we are able to get up to value area high, or whether that's going to just kind of release and allow price to move lower. Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the ES markets. We're just going to take a peek here at the Dow to kind of close the session off. Again, before we head out, guys, please don't be shy. Yeah, that's possibly a not a bad call, Alejandro. High, long above value area high, short below. Okay. All right. So yeah, what I was about to say is, before you exit the building here, don't be shy with the likes, and comments. Okay. So, encourage me to provide this analysis. And also, like I said, I'm continuing to try to build the portal here. And this analysis will eventually go back to behind a membership portal. So that's another consideration here. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the YM here. We'll close off with the YM. I don't have all the price levels here, but I think it's always good to look at all the various equities in their own light. Okay. Because they sometimes give us subtle clues as to maybe opportunities maybe that are not quite playing out in one market, might be lagging, and since they're correlated, we might be able to take advantage. Okay. All right. So we had a gap that's been filled. Again, similar kind of view on the daily. We seem to be in some sort of range on the upper end of the range, but nonetheless a range. Volume delta right now indicates that there's more sellers than buyers. And we're at the top end of the range. So right now it feels like to me that maybe the path of least resistance, is lower. Okay. Right now we are up against some resistance levels at around 45,000. Now that could all change, assuming that we can get above it. Okay. So moving on to the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. Okay, we had a nice push at yesterday's open. Okay, now we seem to be kind of meandering our way down here a little bit, not really breaking any structure to the downside, neither breaking structure to the upside. Really just kind of like hanging out here, really not offering us much in the way of direction. Okay. All right. Moving on to the 30-minute chart. Okay, so unlike the Dow and the ES, price is below VWAP and is sloping below. We open up our anchor VWAP on the top of London here, and let's see, that is also being challenged to the downside. Okay. If we do manage to get above this VWAP, I don't see any reason why we cannot get up to 44,640. Okay, that would be a break of some of this structure, and that could lead to price headed to this level, maybe up to some of these highs back from Monday. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up my fixed range volume profile here. Okay. Locate my start of Monday, close of Monday here. There it is. Again, similar to the other equity markets. Okay. Similar to the other equities markets, we're kind of inside range here. Okay. So again, maybe the potential of some price action that is a bit rangy. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open up my ADR levels and see where we are in relation to ADR. Okay, so we've broken below our average daily range and remain below it. Average session range, we're going to go ahead and open this up here. We're coming into the close to the top end of that range. Okay, now, so this again, similar to some of these other equity markets, maybe we rally, okay, to start before we see any sort of reversals in price here. Okay. So, like I said, I don't have any sort of price levels that I'm tracking in this market. I just wanted to show you some of the areas here. As long as price remains above London VWAP, then maybe there's potential of some price movement to upside. Okay. We're starting to get the open of the market here where our initial balance range is starting to establish. So we'll just have to wait and see how this initial balance range establishes here. I'm not interested in participating right at the open here. So we'll just have to remain patient and let the market participants decide on where they want to take the market. All right. So that pretty much closes my session here, guys. Like you, I want to kind of take a look at how these markets open up here. I've just gotten a close of the gold market from initial balance range, so I'm kind of keen on reviewing that and seeing where price is in relation to that. So with that, guys, like I close every market session like this, trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Okay, so have an excellent session today. Wait for your levels, wait for some confirmation of those levels, and then don't be hesitant to execute. All right. Again, don't be shy with the likes. Don't be shy with the likes and subscribes. If you are so inclined and are interested in deeper understandings and analysis, definitely consider to become a member. All right, we have three different levels: Market Trader Starter, Market Trader Plus, and Market Trader Pro. Okay, each of those levels give us different levels of insights and analysis, and the higher membership levels offer more in the way of sessions like this, where you get to interact with me directly. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. Again, have an excellent trading day. Wait for your levels. Be patient and disciplined, and then don't be hesitant to execute. All right. That's it for me. We'll go ahead and close the session off. Again, I'll be moving over to the coaches' rooms, or I say rooms, right now that we have a couple, and we'll see what we can support there. Support we can offer there, and then we'll have our regular group coaching call later this afternoon on Discord. All right. Until then, happy trading.